Hello, I'm Donal. If you're over 60, I want to talk to you today, not just as a doctor, but as someone who's listened, really listened to thousands of stories from people just like you. People who've worked hard their whole lives, who've raised families, built homes, paid their dues. People who now just want to enjoy their years with peace of mind, strength, and dignity. And that's why this message matters so much, because what you put in your body every morning, those small pills lined up in a weekly box, those supplements you've carefully chosen based on what you've read or been told, they're not just vitamins, they're messages, instructions to your body, promises of health, and sometimes silent threats. What if I told you that some of those vitamins you trust, the ones labeled for heart health, vitality, or over 50 wellness, could actually be quietly pushing your heart toward trouble, not away from it? I know that might be hard to hear. I've seen it firsthand. Seniors who come into my clinic feeling just fine. No chest pain, no obvious symptoms. They're proud of their habits, eating well, walking regularly, taking their daily supplements without fail. But when we look deeper into the blood pressure, the heartbeat, the lab work, something's not right. And often the culprit isn't what they're eating or how much they're exercising. It's the supplements, the very ones they believed were helping them. That's what makes this so difficult and so important. The truth is, our bodies change with age. What helped in our 30s or 40s may hit us differently in our 60s and 70s and beyond. Supplements don't always adapt to those changes, and while some are truly helpful, others, especially in high doses or the wrong combinations, can quietly strain your heart, thin your blood too much, or throw off the rhythm that's kept you alive all these years. Now, this video isn't here to scare you. I'm not here to tell you to throw everything out or live in fear of your medicine cabinet. I'm here to give you clarity. Over the next few minutes, I'll gently walk you through 5 vitamins and supplements that I believe every senior should approach with care. I'll explain why they may cause hidden harm, what the warning signs are, and most importantly, what better choices might look like for your heart at this stage in your life. Because this isn't about blame. It's about wisdom, about protecting the body that's carried you through so much, about helping your heart age not just longer, but better with grace, ease, and strength. So take a deep breath with me. You're in the right place. You're doing the right thing by learning. Let's begin with a supplement found in nearly every senior multivitamin. But when taken in high doses, it may be quietly weakening your heart without a sound. Part 1. Vitamin E in high doses. The bleeding risk. Let me start this section by saying something you've probably heard for years. Vitamin E is good for your heart. That idea is everywhere. It's on labels, in magazines, and even in conversations with well-meaning friends. And yes, in the right amount, vitamin E can offer antioxidant protection, especially when we get it naturally through food. But here's the part you're not always told. In high doses, vitamin E doesn't strengthen your heart. It can actually make it more vulnerable. I've lost count of how many patients I've seen, men and women in their 60s, 70s, and older, who come into my office with unexplained symptoms. They're not in crisis necessarily, but they notice bruises appearing out of nowhere, small cuts that take longer to heal, or dizziness that feels hard to explain. Some come in after a minor fall and we discover internal bleeding. Others show signs of something even more serious, mini strokes, irregular heartbeats, or blood that just won't clot the way it should. And when we look at their supplement list, one thing often jumps out: vitamin E, 400 to 800 IU per day, taken every morning without fail. Here's what's happening inside the body. Vitamin E, especially in large amounts, acts as a blood thinner. On its own, that might not sound dangerous. After all, many people are prescribed blood thinners after a heart event. But when you add high-dose vitamin E on top of that, alongside medications like aspirin, warfarin, or statins. It can tip the balance too far. Your blood becomes too thin. Your clotting ability drops, and your risk of internal bleeding quietly rises. The scariest part? You often feel fine until you don't. There are no loud warning bells, no flashing signs, just the slow, silent strain on a system that's already working hard to keep you safe. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying vitamin E is bad. I'm saying doses matter. At this stage of life, more isn't better. Smarter is better. The safest way to support your heart is by getting vitamin E through whole foods. A small handful of almonds, a spoonful of sunflower seeds, some fresh spinach in your salad. These give your body vitamin E in a form it understands, along with fiber, minerals, and healthy fats that work in harmony with your heart. And if your doctor truly recommends a vitamin E supplement, keep it under 200 IU per day and always check if it's interacting with your other medications. Sometimes even cutting back just a little can make a big difference in how your body feels and heals. The bottom line is this: your heart doesn't need megadoses. It needs balance. It needs you to listen not just to the marketing on a label, but to the signals your body sends you in quiet moments. And now that we've looked at a vitamin that thins the blood too much, let's talk about one that does the opposite. It hardens things, especially where you don't want hardness. It's common in every bone health aisle, but without the right companion, it can build up in your arteries instead of your bones. Part 2. Calcium without K2, the artery stiffener. You've probably heard this line 100 times. Calcium builds strong bones. It's been drilled into all of us, especially after 60, when bone density starts to decline and the fear of fractures or falls becomes more real. And for good reason. Strong bones mean stability, independence, and freedom. So, like millions of other older adults, you may have added a calcium supplement to your daily routine, maybe even years ago, believing it was one of the smartest, most protective steps you could take. But here's what I want to gently help you consider today. Without the guidance of vitamin K2, all that calcium might be drifting away from your bones and settling where it doesn't belong, inside your arteries. You see, calcium doesn't come with a built-in map. It doesn't automatically know to head straight to your bones and nowhere else. Without help, it can just as easily end up in your blood vessels, slowly lining their walls and turning flexible arteries into stiff, narrow tubes. It's like pouring cement into plumbing that's meant to stay soft and responsive. And when that happens, when calcium settles in the wrong places, your heart feels the strain. Blood pressure rises, circulation slows. The heart muscle has to work harder to push blood through a rigid system. Over time, this stiffness can increase your risk of hypertension, chronic fatigue, and even heart failure. I've met seniors who thought they were doing everything right, taking their calcium every morning, skipping the sugary snacks, going on daily walks, and yet they came to me with chest tightness, unexplained tiredness, or sudden spikes in blood pressure. When we looked deeper, we found signs of arterial calcification, a buildup of calcium where it didn't belong. Now, the missing piece in all of this is something called vitamin K2. Think of K2 as a traffic officer. It tells calcium where to go, and more importantly, where not to go. It helps guide calcium out of your bloodstream and into your bones, where it strengthens instead of stiffens. But here's the problem. Most over-the-counter calcium supplements don't include K2. And without it, calcium becomes a wanderer, a misplaced protector. So what can you do instead? If you do choose to supplement, make sure you're using a calcium formula that includes K2 and magnesium, another key partner in bone and cardiovascular health. These three nutrients work best as a team, not in isolation. They support not just your skeleton, but your circulation and muscle function too. Better still, get your calcium from whole foods your body understands. sardines with soft edible bones, dark leafy greens like kale or collard, and yogurt or kefir provide not just calcium, but also the natural enzymes, fats, and minerals your body needs to absorb and use it properly. Remember, when you take calcium without support, it might not help your bones. It might quietly burden your heart. And now, let's shift to something many seniors are taking without even realizing it's doing harm. It's a nutrient that shows up in multivitamins and energy boosters, often taken just to fight a little fatigue. But if your body doesn't need it and you take it anyway, it can slowly rust your heart from the inside out. Part 3. Unneeded iron supplements. The heart rust. Let me begin with something we all know. Iron is essential. It helps carry oxygen through your body. It fuels energy. It's what keeps your cells breathing and your brain clear. But, and this is something many people never hear, too much iron, especially when your body doesn't need it, can quietly become toxic. Over the years, I've sat with many seniors who come into the clinic tired. They assume it's age or maybe they're low on something. Sometimes they've already started taking an iron supplement, hoping for a little extra pep. After all, iron is sold as part of most senior multivitamins. Seems harmless, right? But here's the truth that breaks my heart. Many of them didn't need iron at all. And instead of giving their body a boost, the excess iron had been building up in their tissues, especially their heart and liver, like slow rust. Unlike other nutrients, your body doesn't have a good system to eliminate extra iron. If there's too much, it just stays, it stores, it settles. And over time, that buildup becomes what we call oxidative stress, a kind of silent inflammation that wears down your heart muscle, disrupts your natural rhythm, and can even lead to heart failure. I've seen it firsthand. Patients with chronic fatigue that doesn't improve, joint pain with no clear explanation, memory fog they can't shake, and lab results showing high ferritin levels, a signal their body is overloaded with iron. And the heartbreaking part, it all started with good intentions. A pill here, a fortified shake there. No one told them it could hurt. No one told them their body had enough. So here's what I want you to remember. Iron is powerful, but only when needed. Never take an iron supplement based on how you feel. Only take it if your doctor has tested your levels and confirmed a deficiency. That's what ferritin and serum iron blood tests are for. If your iron is fine, let your food do the work. Lentils, spinach, red meat in moderation, beans, and cooked greens. These offer iron in its natural form, alongside fiber and nutrients that help your body absorb it safely. When you eat it this way, your body can use what it needs and leave the rest behind. Your heart is working hard every day, beating over 100,000 times. Don't weigh it down with something it didn't ask for. And now, let's move from something that silently builds up inside your organs to something that sneaks into your brain and nervous system through another unexpected path. It's in your sleep aids, your energy pills, and even your brain-boosting supplements. But in high doses, it can numb your nerves and knock your heart out of rhythm. Let's talk about vitamin B6 next. Part 4. Too much vitamin B6, the nerve interrupter. Hello again. Let me share something that might surprise you. Vitamin B6 often wears the mask of a helper. It's sold as a mood booster, an energy supporter, a brain protector. It's found in memory blends, stress formulas, immune pills, even in many multivitamins for seniors. You see the word essential on the label, and you trust it. Why wouldn't you? But here's what I need you to know, especially if you're over 60. Too much vitamin B6 doesn't help you feel better. It may be quietly damaging the nerves in your hands, feet, and even the electrical system that keeps your heart beating in rhythm. I've seen this happen again and again in my clinic. A woman in her early 70s came in with numbness in her fingertips. She thought maybe she slept wrong. A few months later, the tingling turned into burning. Her balance got worse. Her heart would flutter randomly, but tests showed nothing obvious. We traced it all back to a supplement labeled Brain and Nerve Support. One pill, 750% of the daily recommended B6. You see, vitamin B6 is water soluble, so people assume the body just flushes out any excess. And that's partly true, but only up to a point. When taken in very high doses over long periods, B6 accumulates in nerve tissue. And instead of helping, it starts to strip the protective sheath from your nerves, a process called demyelination. Think of it like taking the insulation off an electrical wire. The signal misfires. You lose sensation. You lose balance. Your body goes quiet where it should speak clearly. Worse yet, this disruption doesn't stop at your limbs. It can affect your vagus nerve, one of the key players in regulating your heart's natural rhythm. I've had patients report palpitations, skipped beats, or heart pounding at rest, and the cause wasn't stress or heart disease. It was hidden in a natural bottle. And the truth is, these doses aren't rare. Some senior targeted multivitamins contain 20 to 50 milligrams of B6 per day, over 30 times the recommended amount. Add in fortified foods, memory support drinks, and energy chews, and it piles up quickly. You might ask, but I thought B6 was good for my brain. And you'd be right, in the proper amount. We only need about 1.5 to 2 milligrams per day. That's it, not 10, not 50. Just a small steady stream. So here's what I recommend from the heart. First, take a look at the label on your supplements. If the B6 amount is higher than 100% of the daily value, bring that up at your next doctor visit. You deserve clarity. Second, whenever possible, get your B6 through food: bananas, chickpeas, baked potatoes, fortified cereals in moderation. These foods offer not just the vitamin, but also fiber, potassium, and nutrients that work together in harmony with your body. And if you're experiencing tingling or numbness in your hands or feet, burning pain without injury, muscle weakness or shakiness, unexplained heart fluttering, don't brush it off as just age. Your body may be signaling for help softly but urgently. Remember, your nervous system doesn't shout. It whispers. It hums quietly in the background of everything you do. It's how you hold your grandchild's hand, how you balance on the stairs, how your heart keeps time while you sleep. Let's not silence that system with a vitamin that was only meant to support you, not overwhelm you. And now that we've explored how too much of a good thing like B6 can turn against your body, let's move to the final stop in our journey, a place where many seniors put their deepest trust. That daily multivitamin labeled heart support. The one with bold promises, but sometimes more danger than benefit hiding behind the glossy label. Part 5. Heart-healthy multivitamins with fillers, the sneaky saboteur. We've covered a lot already. Vitamins you thought were helpful, but maybe quietly working against you. Now, let's talk about one more that's hiding in plain sight. The multivitamin. The one labeled heart support, or 50 plus essentials, or vitality for seniors. Sounds promising, doesn't it? But let me tell you a story. A gentleman in his late 60s came to see me. He had just started feeling jittery. His blood pressure, which had been steady for years, was suddenly unpredictable. He'd cut back on salt, was walking regularly, but still something was off. When we sat down to go through his habits, we found the culprit. Not a medication, not a new diet, but a bright red bottle of heart-healthy multivitamins. Inside that bottle, not just vitamins, but a mix of caffeine-like herbs, excess niacin, and a proprietary blend of ingredients that weren't clearly explained on the label. He had no idea what half of them were, and neither did his heart. Here's the truth. Not all multivitamins are created with seniors in mind. Many of these energy-boosting or vitality-enhancing formulas contain green tea extract, which can raise your heart rate and blood pressure. High doses of niacin, which can cause skin flushing, liver strain, and sudden drops in blood pressure. Ginseng or guarana,
natural stimulants that can trigger arrhythmias in older, more sensitive hearts, vitamin A or E in excess, which build up over time and cause toxicity. And worst of all, these ingredients are often hidden under vague terms like herbal blend, energy complex, or senior support matrix. You're not told how much of each ingredient you're getting, you're not told how it might interact with your medications, and you're certainly not told that one pill could send your heart racing for no good reason. The idea of taking just one vitamin a day sounds comforting, but the reality is your body over 60 doesn't need more. It needs more clarity, more simplicity, and more care. So what can you do instead? Simplify. Avoid multivitamins with long ingredient lists you can't understand. Choose single ingredient supplements only if they're recommended by your doctor, like vitamin D3, magnesium, or omega-3s. Be wary of anything that promises a sudden boost in energy, stamina, or youth. And always, always bring your supplements with you to your doctor visits. Let your care team know everything you're taking, even if it's just a vitamin. Remember, the goal isn't to fill your cabinet. It's to support your body gently, wisely, and with purpose. Because your heart doesn't need mystery blends. It needs steady support, clear direction, and room to breathe. And now that we've uncovered what to remove, what to watch, what to rethink, let's not end with fear. Let's close with hope. With a look at the few essential nutrients your heart truly may need. And even more important, the daily habits that give those nutrients power to heal. Let's go there together.
What to take, what to change, and why there's still time. Let's slow down for a moment. You've just taken in a lot of information, and if you're feeling unsure, maybe even a little overwhelmed, that's okay. I've seen that look in the eyes of many seniors sitting across from me in my clinic. A mix of concern and quiet hope. Here's what I want you to know. You haven't failed. You've cared enough to ask questions. You've taken steps to stay healthy. And that tells me your heart still wants to keep going strong. After 60, we're not chasing perfection. We're chasing peace. And peace doesn't come from a shelf full of supplements. It comes from understanding your body's needs today, not 20 years ago. So what should you actually take? Maybe just a few things, and only if your doctor agrees. Vitamin D3, especially if you're indoors, often magnesium to help with rhythm, sleep, and stress omega-3s to support smooth, flexible arteries. That's it. Simple. But the real healing, it's in your habits. A warm plate of real food, a quiet walk in the afternoon, a full night's rest, a moment of laughter with someone who loves you, and space to breathe slowly and fully. You don't need to fear your supplements, but you do need to know what they're doing, because the choices you make now can still protect your heart for years to come. If this video helped bring clarity, type 1 in the comments, or share a small change you plan to make this week. We learn so much from each other. And remember, your next heartbeat is a gift, and it's yours to protect.